The disruption of health systems often results in delayed access to essential health services, exposing affected communities to increased morbidity and mortality. Monitoring the availability of essential health resources and services is therefore critical. It allows identifying gaps in service delivery and provides decision makers with information that is critical to design efficient response measures. The aim of the HeRAMS approach is to improve overall access to healthcare by contributing to the elaboration of a commonly agreed upon picture of the health needs, gaps, and priorities. The HeRAMS approach was first implemented in 2007 in Sudan, in the Darfur region. Over the years, the approach has been implemented in a large number of countries, including Sudan, Pakistan, Yemen, Syria, Philippines, Fiji, Nigeria, Central African Republic, Ukraine, Mali, Cameroon, and has covered a large variety of contexts. Welcome to the module on the HeRAMS approach. In this module, you will learn about the Health Resources and Services Availability Monitoring System, HeRAMS, and about its objectives and core principles. You will also learn about the main information pillars of HeRAMS and about its implementation process. Finally, you will learn about the HeRAMS online platform, which supports the implementation of the process at country level. It will take you approximately 25 minutes to complete this module. At the end of the module, you will be asked to undertake an assessment based on what you have learnt. You must successfully complete the assessment to complete the module. The World Health Organization, WHO, as the cluster lead agency, is responsible for coordinating and supporting all health partners responding to health needs in countries that require assistance, which implies having a good understanding of the situation in terms of needs, capacities, gaps, and priorities. The lack of timely and reliable information has often meant that WHO has been unable to swiftly assume its role as a health cluster lead agency in effectively coordinating all health-related agencies responding to emergencies. Emergencies pose specific challenges in the implementation of efficient health information systems. HeRAMS has been developed to operate in highly constrained, low-resourced and fast-changing environments where access, security, and the lack of time and resources impede the use of other traditional assessment and monitoring approaches. HeRAMS aims at providing decision-makers involved in emergency response with critical and up-to-date information on the overall functioning of the health system in those contexts, and more particularly on the availability of essential health resources and services. As we have seen, the objective of the HeRAMS approach is to guide the standardised, systematic and continuous collection, collation, analysis and dissemination of information on the availability of essential health resources and services, and list the main impediments to service delivery. Let's look at the specific objectives of HeRAMS. Let's look at the core principles of HeRAMS. HeRAMS assesses and monitors health resources and services exhaustively. As opposed to point-in-time or cross-sectional assessments, HeRAMS has been designed to operate as a real-time monitoring process. It is adapted to fast-changing environments where decision-makers require constant updates to support grounded evidence and actions which can be quickly readjusted as the situation evolves. HeRAMS focuses on assessing the availability of essential health services. It does not provide a comprehensive assessment of health systems by looking at all its components, such as finance, human resources, governance, etc., but rather acts as a surveillance system of the health system by detecting the health system's dysfunctions through the availability of health services. In turn, HeRAMS guides and allows the better targeting of complementary in-depth assessments that cannot be implemented exhaustively and repeatedly on a large scale on issues such as health service quality or accessibility. In addition to focusing on service availability, HeRAMS systematically monitors the causes of dysfunctionality of the health system. It identifies the causes of damage to infrastructure, of dysfunctionality, inaccessibility, or the impediments to health service delivery, allowing decision makers to identify the best response options. To meet its objectives and the challenges of complex environments, HeRAMS relies on the self-reporting by key informants, KIs. The reliance on self-reporting by key informants allows the approach to be extremely reactive and efficient. It implies a careful selection of key informants, which in turn offers the opportunity to build on the judgment of experts, as opposed to relying on data collected by non-professionals. Verification and validation mechanisms are implemented to reinforce the quality and trust of the data reported by expert key informants. A variety of validation mechanisms should be considered depending on the context and level of resourcing and access. These range from peer-to-peer validation, for example, through intrasectoral discussions of HeRAMS findings, all the way to random checks or systematic validation mechanisms. The need for reinforced verification and validation stresses the importance of maximizing access to the data as well as opportunity checks during health facility visits for other purposes, such as training and supervision. The HeRAMS approach is a collaborative process that builds upon the active participation of all health sector actors involved in delivering health services or directly supporting service delivery. The responsibility of agreeing on standards, collecting and maintaining quality data, analysing results and communicating findings is shared among all health sector actors. Health sector actors that are most generally involved in contributing to or coordinating the HeRAMS process include Ministries of Health, WHO, and other agencies and NGOs operating in the health sector. Whenever feasible, the private healthcare providers should be included in the approach. This has, however, often proved to be a challenge due to the lack of knowledgeable key informants to support the process. Agreeing on standards, such as service definitions or essential service packages, is an essential step towards a better coordinated and more efficient health sector response. HeRAMS supports standardisation across the sector and ensures that agreed-upon standards constitute the basis for monitoring and evaluation. Furthermore, HeRAMS integrates IASC standards to ensure that its data can easily feed into intersectoral assessment and can easily be analysed alongside population figures. Finally, while operational, HeRAMS is also meant to serve as the standard and authoritative source for the Master Health Facility List and as a basis for the integration of other relevant health information systems. Regular production and dissemination of reports summarising HeRAMS findings, as well as live access to the data through data exploration and analysis tools, are needed to cope with fast-changing emergency situations. Data, analysis, and key findings can be explored by all health sector actors involved in the process through the HeRAMS platform. Note that when needed, access to sensitive pieces of information may also be restricted. Let's now look at the information pillars around which the HeRAMS Standard Data Model is structured. The first pillar is the Master Health Facility List, MHFL, which is the root information of HeRAMS. It combines data on the point of service delivery and the modality of service delivery. The point of service delivery includes information on the geographical location at which services are being delivered. It relates to geographical standards such as the Common Operational Data Sets. The modality of service delivery is the means through which services are being delivered. MOSD is in most cases health facilities, but also includes emergency-specific modalities such as field hospitals, mobile clinics, or emergency response teams. The second pillar assesses information about the overall condition of the infrastructure and of the essential equipment, as well as the main causes of damage, such as whether they were natural or man-made disasters, or caused by conflicts, attacks, or by the lack of maintenance. The third pillar assesses the overall functionality of the modality of service delivery and the main causes of dysfunctionality. The fourth pillar assesses the overall accessibility of the modality of service delivery and the main causes of inaccessibility. The fifth pillar looks at the management of the modality of service delivery as well as any form of external support provided. The sixth pillar looks at the availability and sufficiency of basic amenities. The seventh pillar looks at the availability of facility-based information systems and their functionality in terms of frequency, timeliness, and completeness. The eighth pillar looks at the availability of essential health services across 4 levels of care and 6 subsectors, and includes the main barriers to service delivery. HeRAMS standard checklist of services uses standard service definitions. These can be adapted to local contexts as required. The ninth pillar is optional. It provides complementary modules on the availability of human resources, essential medicines, and essential equipment. These modules should only be activated when and where operationally relevant and feasible, in order to further investigate issues that have been detected through the regular monitoring.